All right. Hello, 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 family. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing amazing. I hope everybody is having a great day or probably during the night. You guys probably sleeping on that end of town. But we're
Right.
woke over here and it's like 1 o'clock here. So, and I know we're 9 hours. So whenever you see this broadcast, I hope you guys tune in and share it and like and share, and that's free. Just so that we can get it out because we're talking about something that nobody else talks about. Okay. We're going to talk about the process of moving abroad, marriage wise, and kids and relationships. We're going to bring it all into one, and we're going to try to get it in and get it out and give you the meat and potatoes, and we're going to be done. So I want to introduce my two guests here. I'm going to let them come on and introduce themselves. We got Nubian and we got Miss Lorraine. You guys can introduce your ministries, introduce yourselves, and you guys got the floor. Thank you, ladies, for coming. Appreciate you guys. So whichever one wants to go first.
Lorraine,
Lorraine,
Lorraine, Lorraine.
you're muted. You're muted. There you go, baby Kate.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, while Lorraine's coming in, I'm Nubian with Little Promises, and also we have School of Masterminds. We also have Exodus to help expats transition from the four corners of the earth, and we
Mhm.
also have a missionary ministry. I'm American. I am here in Kenya. Right now, I'm in Nairobi, but we also have other expat places throughout Kenya. And wherever part of the world that you're in, we help you transition to that area. So we're here in Kenya, but we're partnering with Cassie over in Mauritius. For those of you who are interested in, you don't want to come to Kenya, but you may want to go to Mauritius instead. So yeah,
Hey, sorry about that. I got kicked out of the screen and I had to come back in.
yeah, her microphone is doing something today, and you're
Okay.
muted. There you
Well,
go.
we're gonna wait for Miss. Okay, we're gonna wait for Miss Lorraine, or we're gonna talk, and she's gonna come back. Um,
Okay.
and with the topic today, let's start with relationship. How has it been? Because I know, we've left family members, left grown kids, we've left babies, we've left grandchildren, we've left moms, we've left dads, we've left family members, right? And I think when we come here, we don't really understand what it's all going to take, what it's really going to do to our psyche. We don't think about that. That's something we never think about until you get here, and then you're by yourself, and you go, "Oh my God, my family is there. I'm here." You know, we're 9 hours apart. As far as time, because I know in the States it's probably, one of my daughters in California, one is in North Carolina. So the one in California, we get the same time, but 12 hours different. And then the one in North Carolina is like 9 hours. So it's probably like, oh God, whatever
Right.
Israel. And look, it's early there. But that's a big deal because this is something we never think about how lonely it is when you're by yourself. It's almost like you've just divorced your parents, you divorced your kids, you divorced everybody, you divorced your family. And it's like you're doing this by yourself. So
Right.
you gotta be ready, you gotta be strong. That's why I was trying to get us to really talk to a therapist because I think that's very much needed
Yeah.
in order to help us to deal with some of this loneliness, to help us to deal with moving abroad and making some decisions. And, even when you got kids, you got teenage kids. So we want to, Lorraine, we're going to give you a chance to, to introduce yourself and your ministry before our computers act, we- so go ahead. We're going to give you this opportunity to introduce yourself and your ministry.
Unmute.
You're muted, baby. Yeah. You got to mute yourself. Unmute yourself. It's okay. We're going to take our time and we're going to get it together. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good, though. So that's why I was really trying to get us to the point of where we can see a therapist, because I do believe that that's much needed, making this transition to help you to deal with some of the stuff that you never even thought would happen. The loneliness, the time when you go, oh my God, I used to see my kids every week, every Sunday, Saturday and Sunday. I'd go down there, I'd see my kids, I'd go my therapy was, I had a three-wheeler. My therapy was me riding my three-wheeler. It was me just in the air, in the wind. Now I can't do that. I have a trike now. It's not a three-wheeler, but I can ride it, but it's still not the same. So we are working on that also, trying to get us to talk to somebody. She said to keep picking her out. I wonder, let's see, there's another way we could do this, maybe I wonder if I can add her on Facebook or something. It's not supporting StreamYard. You got any other suggestions that we could do here?
I wonder, can she sign in? Maybe it'll be more supportive if she signs in to Streamline. Does she have an account?
Let's see. Instead of hitting the link, maybe I can give it a link again. Maybe share the link again with her. Okay,
yeah, you can
do that.
I still think that maybe if she signs in, that if she's logged in, it may not kick her out.
Okay.
Because I just noticed I'm not logged in, but I don't know how long I'm not going to be logged in.
Okay, got you.
If it kicks me out, maybe it's more supportive if we sign in.
Okay, I'll tell her to sign in. Maybe hope it don't kick me off going down and coming back. Let's see here.
Here, want me to text her?
Keep going. That's fine. So yeah, that's why we were trying to get it together as far as getting a therapist, because I do believe that this is healing for us. It's all about healing. We didn't come here just to be, coming. I think we came here for a reason. And some of us were kind of forced to leave with, things and cars and all this other stuff. And, it's almost like we're starting over at 60. Okay. For me, I'm 62. So I kind of started from scratch. Okay. But hey, it's okay because it's all for good, So therefore, let's talk about the family and the relationships part of it. If you want to start with that, Nivian, how have you dealt with that as far as, relationship wise, with your family or with your husband, or how was, just talk to us, be raw and be real and talk to us.
Right, 1 second. Jordan, get the door. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm yelling. I could have put it on mute. That was so rude. Okay, this is real life. Okay, everything happens.
We life it. It's okay. Life is life. Life is life.
Yeah. I don't know. I volunteered actually to come to Kenya. I volunteered to be on my mission, on my ministry. I know that I have a calling to do certain things for the kingdom of heaven. I'm a bona fide servant of the living God. I'm very proud of that. So everything that I talk about, everything that I do, every step that I make, it's going to be dealing with, did God order my steps to make this move? Did I seek his face to come this way? I don't just get to pick and choose. I did when I came here. A friend of mine put us on her buddy pass. So we were able to basically travel the whole world, go to any country that we wanted for a whole year on her buddy pass. But we ended up just going to Seoul, Korea. And then I came straight here to Kenya. I could have gone anywhere in the world. I know my family wanted to travel some more. Before that, we came from Budapest and we came from Greece. So we're already used to traveling, having fun in that travel space, as well as Jamaica. But being here in Kenya, it's my call, it's my ministry, it's what God brought me here to do. So that's my call. However, my husband came with me. He quit his job at Volkswagen to support me in my ministry. And my daughter, she's a teenager. So with her being a teenager, she was grateful and had fun when we went to Seoul, Korea. But when we cut that trip short to come to Kenya, that's when reality of everything started setting in, especially as we started realizing the difference of a second world country versus America. So it's basically eye-opening, not just from myself. I believe that I'm the one that just kind of keep everybody strong. Like, yeah, we're fine, we're fine. But I realize that my husband doesn't take it too well, and my daughter doesn't take it too well. They love America. There's just no point. There's no point in getting around that. They love America. They love being American. They love everything about America. They love their friends in America, their family in America. Now, I feel like I've been able to transition myself a little better because um, I've always traveled around America, but I've never attached myself to a certain group or crowd or people. I've pretty much been a loner, so it's easy for me to just, pick up and leave or just go. Unlike my husband or my daughter, or even friends or people that I've helped relocate, they get attached to either people or things or a way of life, and then they come here to Kenya and then they can't take it or they can't deal with it, and then they end up going back to America. Now, from my experience, people who have come here and ended up going back to America because they missed the availability of the lavish things, of that come with America. When they get back to America, they realize, like, wait a minute, there's a lot of cameras here, there's a lot of smog here, there's a lot of brutality here, there's a lot of policies here that we don't like. Wait, was I thinking? So yeah, it's not really easy for, let's just even say, the men specifically, because as a married woman, the man is the head of the household. And because the man is the head of the household, when you come to any foreign country, not just Kenya, you can be traveling anywhere outside of your native jurisdiction. There are statutes and codes in place that will prevent you from working in that country. So whether you're there, majority of places that you go to or you travel to, it starts with a 60-day to a 90-day visa process where you're just on a visitor's visa and you cannot work. So the hard part with my husband specifically is, being a man, being the man of the household, and then not being able to work or provide, or having to, stand behind his wife, who has to basically monetize, through social media, us to be able to thrive or survive in some way, shape, or form. So, Lorraine, are you back? Can you hear us? Do you know sign language? Oh, you can hear me? Okay. So yeah, I wanted to give you the floor if you're back. I think I'm done. Oh, no. Hers is still oh. What if you want to?
Can you go into settings to see if she can unmute herself, Lorraine? She's gone.
I'm wondering if can I put you on my phone and we can see your face, but then hear your voice through my phone?
Okay, let's do that. Let's see if we can do that.
Okay, let's try that.
Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, let's see that. So that must be hard for your husband, though, to be able to do that. That's a big deal right there.
Yeah, it's a very big deal because it strips manhood away from the men. It strips them of feeling like, they're the provider. It strips them from wanting to step in to help, especially like if and when funds get low. And then you're trying to reach out to family or friends and, back home, and they're like, well, how you get over there? Same thing that got over there should bring you back, So then you start realizing who your true friends, who your true circle is, and who your true circle is not. And then it puts pressure. I'm sorry, I'm looking for Lorraine, that's why I'm looking down. It puts pressure. There's a family dynamic. It puts pressure altogether on the family dynamic. And it's not a comfortable space to be in. So this is where your faith has to kick in even stronger.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. I was thinking maybe we can see your face, but like hear your voice through the phone. Is that possible?
That's totally fine. I don't know what's going on. It keeps kicking me out of the live stream.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. You want to talk to him? Introduce yourself.
Sure. Can you? Yes. Hi.
Yep,
My
that's
name
good. Yes.
is Lorraine. Is that not doable?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Lorraine, and I'm from Graceful Guidance Ministries, and the ministry that I do sort of has a few little umbrellas to it. One of them is I do help parents who struggle with special needs and have behavioral issues, and I do coaching and mentoring, whether it be over the phone. I do Zooms, and I also come into homes and help them with challenges that they may be having. I have two sons on the spectrum, and so they are adults now, so I do have a little bit of experience in that, and also additional training. I'm also a certified registered behavior technician. And also I work with women who are in recovery or just coming out of recovery, or who are in transition type situations, such as housing. And I work with those women and do mentor coaching with those situations as well. What I'm going into now here in Mauritius is looking at an orphanage specifically to start doing some work there, bringing in some donations and spending time with those children there and helping them with whatever needs they are. So that's Graceful Guidance.
Awesome.
Nice.
So let's talk about relationship-wise. I know you've left family members, you've left, children. How has that been as far as relationship-wise for you?
Yes. So I didn't leave a spouse, but I did leave adult children. I left 4 of them. I have an adult daughter who is almost 30, and then I have 2 sons who are mid-20s and late 20s, and both of them are on the spectrum. And then I have a daughter who is 19, and she's still in the States as well. So it was very difficult because for the reasons that I came here. So I know that lots of expats come for different reasons. Some, this is what they want to do. They've been working towards this. They don't want to live in America anymore. And so they make retirement goals, or they just make job changes. For me, it was a missional goal in addition to a biblical decree to obey and come here. And so I knew I had to go regardless of what my children did. Now, my son, who is my oldest son, he's not my oldest child, he's in a men's group home and has 24-hour care. That has been extremely difficult for me for a few reasons. One, I'm halfway around the world and I can't just hop on a plane or get in a car and travel. But he wants to be with me. And so before I got the instructions from the Most High to come here, we were working towards very slowly him coming back home for good, possibly. He struggles sometimes when he gets upset, and he's 6'4" and I'm 5'3", so that sort of explains that. And he doesn't always have safe words, is what we say, safe words, safe hands, safe feet. He's gotten a lot better, and so that's why we were working towards having him come home. He really loves the sunshine. He doesn't like the snow. We're from the Northwest, and so there's always snow and much colder weather, a lot of rain, and he's just been really missing me. And that's hard, when you move somewhere and you don't have a full picture of what's going to happen with that child, particularly with the times that we live in. And so I'm continuing to pray about that. I'd like to have him come. That's a whole nother thing to tackle, however, because he can't just get on a plane. He has to have someone bring him, or I have to go get him, one of the two. And so, the Most High is faithful, though. So I'll just keep bringing that to the throne and see what the Father wants to do about that. My oldest daughter, I kind of gave her the specifics on what was kind of going on here. They're adults and they're going to make their decisions. So she's not ready. She had just gotten promoted at her job and didn't renew her passport. She has a degree in theology and was doing missional work before COVID, and has not yet come back to the table with that. She's in a place in her life where she knows she needs to change some things. Now, my other son, who is also on the spectrum, is very high functioning. He lives with my former spouse, and he's not going to make any moves without him. He understands what's going on to quite a bit of a large extent. Him and I have lots of good conversations. My children are very schooled in understanding the times that we live in. I've homeschooled them for 20 plus years, and so I didn't really hold back on a lot of things. So my children can go in public and show you things in public that they can tell you what businesses are, for lack of better words, sold out. Just based on symbolism, and they understand the deeper truths. And so that's disheartening for me when they are more concerned about their 5-year goals or getting promoted, or I don't want to leave dad behind, and you understand the danger that they are in and what the instructions have been given, if I can be blunt about that. I truly believe that well, and I think that I'm not by myself when I say this, that we know that most folks in America do not understand what's going on. And if they do, they're not taking it as seriously as they should be. But then there are a few remnant who are. So it's heartbreaking when you carry these children in your womb and then they know the truth, because my children are without excuse. So, my children know the truth. So they're not newbies. And it's hard, when I keep pressing. My youngest, she is considering actually coming, but she's still toying with that. Well, I need to finish getting my paramedics license, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. And, I have to let her walk her own path. And it's hard. It's very difficult. I have expressed to other people that it's a little bit like Lot. We're told to leave and leave now. And you do leave family members behind, and how disheartening that might have been for him. And then you have some that come with you, but then they're still looking back. And we know the story there. So it's just something that I just keep going to prayer. And I know that the Most High is so merciful and gracious, and his pay grade is high above all of ours. So he knows what he's doing, and he's got this under control. And my job is to keep praying for my children and let the Lord cover them over their lives and instruct them when it's time.
Wow, that is, it's hard. It's not easy. So I want to touch a little bit on the process. What was the process? What was your process to getting here, Lorraine?
Yes, so the process for me, the first thing I did after I kind of knew that the Father was leading me, after listening to Journey with Us with Tiffy and Harold, and I was sure that I was coming, I made a list and I made an appointment with them, and I think I met with them twice. And I had all the questions, and Harold said, I know it's really overwhelming, but just go slow, go at the pace that the Most High tells you to go. We know that things are changing, because in the beginning, there was this little bit of anxiousness of I need to get out right now, but I knew that wasn't the Lord, because that's just not how he speaks to me. When he talks with me, there's always peace involved. It's not this panic, emotional, jump off a cliff type stuff. And so I followed what he said do on each step of the way, and I just checked off the boxes. So, for example, I think the first thing I did was make an appointment to get my fingerprints done. And that was real easy. I started with the easy stuff. And then I sold my firearm. I just kind of started selling things and took my time, and it took months to do it. I started planting seeds with my children and kind of telling them, you know, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not leaving right now. You are welcome to come with me. But my plan originally was to leave in May of 2026. But the Father gave me quite unconventional instructions that I would not recommend other people do unless he is specifically telling you to do that. Because we're very conditioned to do things a certain way in America, and the Father had me go against a lot of that because he's in a certain place with that country. And so I followed him and I listened to him and I took my time and I just crossed off the boxes. I sold everything. I turned my car in and just started making plans one little bit at a time and just started work. I did start working a little bit extra to put money away. I also used my taxes. I put that away. And I have a very supportive family who has also blessed me as well, particularly because they know I'm going to come over here and do what I'm supposed to do. And so that has been a wonderful thing. They don't all agree. I do have family members that didn't support me and actually told me that to my face and said I was wrong for coming over here and what they would say is claustrizing, but that's not what I'm doing. And I was challenged with some family members and I didn't have the support of everybody. I have had family members stop talking to me and I haven't done anything except obey the Lord and move to another country. So I don't know about that, but I keep praying for those family members, and I just kept pushing and staying the course and focused on the family members that did support me. But as far as how I did it, with the earthly things, it was just one step at a time. I just crossed off the boxes. It was a lot. I had to do a lot of paperwork. I had to get my passport renewed. I got my son's passport renewed. I got my daughter's passport renewed. And I also, because I have full custody of my son, and I always have, this is my second husband. Yes, I've been married twice. I think I was going about it the wrong way. Moving right along with that. But so I have custody of my younger two, full custody. And so I had to go through the paperwork for that. Even though I had full custody, the embassy wanted to see that I wasn't necessarily kidnapping him. So I had to go get things notarized with his dad. It was a lot of little things that needed to be done. But like I said, I paced myself. I got my airline tickets when the Father told me to get them. I got a VPN. And again, I checked off the boxes. And one of those things I did was call you, Cassie. I didn't know you from Adam. And Tiffany had interviewed you. And I thought, they welcomed me into the group. I said, I think I'm going to reach out to her. She seems to be open. And I just have a few more questions. And you were very helpful in, because you were already here. So you were able to give me tips about the airport and, just encourage me on what to pack, what not to pack, and all those good things. So that's what I did. I don't know if I answered the question, but I did take my time. I packed light. We each had 2 suitcases and both had backpacks. And here we are.
Okay, Nubia, what about you? What was your process? Because I said you were going kind of a couple of you. I know I thought about that after. I said, oh my God, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to see, okay, how I'm gonna do Lorraine, how I'm gonna hold her up. Okay, so we going in today, y'all. So Lorraine, how do we hold Lorraine? No, because so basically I'm bringing in my husband.
Okay.
This is the first time we went to the embassy and he got sent back. He's trying to transition and go back to America. So I'm bringing him in, So therefore, we can get a real man's perspective versus from my own mouth about his journey,
Awesome.
his transition, and where he's at with everything. So let me
Okay.
pull me and Lorraine out the way.
Let's see right here.
And then my daughter, she's gonna give us her
Okay.
perspective next from the teenager's perspective.
Okay, awesome. Lorraine, if you want to try to come in under Realm in the Bush, on YouTube, I put the link of StreamYard in that chat. Maybe you can come up that way also. So either way, however you want to try it. But go ahead, Newbie. I'm gonna let you guys have the floor.
Did you hear, Lorraine? Did you hear? I don't know if she heard you.
In the front, if she sits in the front, can you prop her up like in a book with a book or up on something? Kind of prop her up or something so we can see her, like a book or something, and just yeah.
Let's try.
Okay, yeah.
Do we have-
You have another book where you consider up on a book or something just a little bit higher, then that way we can see her.
I think, let me see something real quick. Let me.
Yeah, like a box of cereal, like a box of cereal or something. I do apologize, you guys, for this, and it's just a little technical difficulties today, but it's all good. I think you guys are gonna get the message, and I think this is really good. Yeah, that's perfect, and that way we can still see. She just needs to go up just a little bit more, but then we won't be able to see your husband doing it like that. So put a box of cereal up under her. Like a box of cereal or bowl. Like get one of these bowls and put it on top of a bowl or something. Yeah. Thank you, baby. Look at her. She is really helpful over there. Like that. Is that gonna work for us? Yeah.
Let me take a cup. Yeah.
Is that gonna work for us? Just need her to be up on something like underneath like a bowl or something. Maybe if you can hold it like that, that'll work too.
Yeah. Okay, I think we got her.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, right there. Yeah, cool. Cool. Okay, welcome family. I love it. Love it. Teamwork. Yes.
So now Joy.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you. So you guys want to introduce yourself?
Hi, we're the King family. This is my husband Leon.
Do you want to come give your perspective of what it's like?
And my daughter Jordan. We're all from the U.S. My husband, he's going to give his perspective as a male husband who has, quit his job, transitioning with his family, supporting his wife, doing missionary work, and where he's at right now. And then my daughter, she's here to give you the teenage perspective and what she's been dealing with and going through on her own, and even the emotional side of it. And so I'm gonna let her tell her story. So I'd rather them tell their own story. Okay.
Let me see. I'm trying
welcome. Thank you for coming.
Trying to use a bulletin to hit pinpoint so I don't do several hours long. So I'm using discernment and using discretion how to just sum up everything and be not quick and fast, but kind of quick and fast, because I know our expansion, what they would say, is not so long. A lot of people like short clips or not long, stories.
Yeah, maybe we give us some bullet points to start from.
Bullet points. So let's see. Bullet point would be staying here in Kenya. Is that we would start, or what bullet point would we?
Yeah. What's the question, Cassie?
Yeah, bullet point.
Well, the question was the process. How are you handling it? Being a man coming away from your family, how are you handling it? Not being able to work because because of the embassy, because of the passport, the visa. That's hard. I know that's hard. So just tell us your heart. What's going on with you? How are you feeling through all of this? And be honest. I mean, it's all about being honest, and because some men need to hear this.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm wired to work, because
Okay.
I've been wired to work since I've been a youngin. Like since I was a youngin, you know, much respect to my mom, much love. There was some things that I didn't like the plaid shirt, and everybody else was looking cool. So even when I was from like 10, 11 or whichever, I was um, at car washes, washing people's cars, getting a little change or put an armor all on the tire. I was in an entrepreneur state, and I didn't even realize that, and I just stayed working. Like whatever I tried to get, I just stayed working, even to the point where it's like, I just stayed working. I stayed working even all the way in from elementary all the way to high school. But that's a different time. It's different season now for the people that are coming up now. But at my time, that's how I stayed working. So I stayed working all through high school, even through college, even through whatever time. So I'm just a hard working man. I just work, and when what they say, if you don't work, you don't eat. So and there's times where I didn't work, and I know what it's like to not work, even when I was in the States, and just kind of being broke and even trying to pay rent, and people are like, hey man, what you gonna do about paying this bill? It didn't sit right with me because I'm wired to work, and it just made me feel like it robbed me from uh, being a supporter or a human being. I don't. I probably want to say a man, because in our society it makes you less than a man, but it just kind of made me less as a productive person in society or in the situation or whichever. So I like working. So coming here to Kenya, um, it's awesome. It's awesome. I want to say it's awesome. All they showed us on Discovery Channel was,
Supplies.
malnutrition and the stomach and belly and sickness and crying for help, and people coming to rescue them and stuff. But they didn't show us that it's popping. It's live and popping. So and it's beautiful too, because it's like the only place that I know, and people would tell me, is like Atlanta, Georgia, where it's like the black empire, or the black
Black
um,
Wall Street.
yeah, Black Wall Street. And then to come to Africa, because I'm thinking Africa poor, and yeah, there is. In certain areas it's poor, but there's a lot of more wealthy people that will blow your socks off, blow my socks off, and be like, hey man, Lamborghinis, Porsche, Range Rovers, big homes,
Yeah.
luxury homes, and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, man, these people are on another level, and seeing that and coming here too, it showed me in the U.S. that I'm not gonna even lie, that I have my hand out. Like I can, go get this or go to the government and get a help or whichever and stuff. But here, it expand your mind. It gives you more a sharper, clearer um, grind for your craft. Make you feel more hands on with your craft versus, you know, um, in my experience being in the States, where I probably can get a handout or I can get help or whichever. So being here, you know, it made me feel like the grind is anything. You can take anything up
Yeah.
uh, and create it and sell it to the
That's
people
right.
and believe in your craft and like your craft, and like the Bible says, it will make room for you. So I'm like, even if I go out here and I go make bread and cheese, we looking at it like bread and cheese. But okay, bread and cheese, I'm gonna go make bread and cheese. This is 50 here, 50 here, 50 here. Okay, just stay focused and stay consistent, and you're gonna start to see, wow, man, 100 here, 200 there, 300 there, and just stay consistent. And
Yes.
I see, like even when the foreigners when they come to the states, like my parents, they're Jamaican, so they I'm looking at them and they see the hustle when they're in the states. So they took what we think, or not we think, but many Americans take for granted, and took it to the next level. That's why, like, when they come to the States, they're like, why are these people, these foreigners doing this? This Mexican got, 4 different businesses and landscape jobs, and they got Lamborghinis and Porsche and all of these things. Is because they see the grind differently than we, the not we as individual, but the American or the people that see it. And that's where people get mad and angry at them, because they see something and they see it and they know it. So my parents, they came from Jamaica, where my mother said she looked into the sky and she saw planes flying over, and she told me, one day I'm gonna get over there. And she got over there, and yes, she probably met my pops, and my pops are Jamaican too, and had me and all our other brothers and so forth on. So, and even with that too, she worked 4 different jobs, hardly home, and
Wow.
picked up real estate, had real estate, and all of these different things. So now I'm glad that I came here, because it got me more of a foreign idea and a concept to how my parents came, and how they had to, and how the grind and is highly appreciated, and you don't take that for granted. So um, yeah, being here is awesome. The resources here is awesome, meaning like fruits and vegetables, you're eating cleaner. You don't see all the chemtrails that's going on in the
Yes.
states and stuff like that, where they've been bombarding you with all this different aluminum and pollution and carbon and all these different things that, trying to poison and sick and manufacture all these different foods um, and medicine and stuff. Everything here, even to the medicine supplements. Like, if you have a cold, um, we are um, chemically going through the doctors with like names that, if you put the names together, those names are probably bombs that we putting in our body.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
here, they're going through the medicinal places and cutting down bushes and telling you to take this bush or take that or take
Yeah.
this flower
Yeah.
thing, and it's
Yeah.
healing your body, and you know it's coming from a natural source.
Yeah.
So, um, being here, uh, it uh, it's rejuvenation. It's healing, and I believe with the right type of mindset, there is deliverance, there is healing, there is more, um, probably 10 times more seeking God than if we were in the states. Because in the states, it like I said, a lot of things are kind of handed to you a little bit, but here
It's a wake up call.
it's a wake up call,
Yeah.
and to see
Yep.
how foreigners, like, even my parents, like, why my parents, like, why, how did they come up in Christianity, and how did they believe in God so much? Because that was more important than math and reading in their
Yep.
society. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where us, we had it, and we still got our ancestors in the North Carolina and the South Carolina and all of them Holy Ghost people, but it's a different reality. Like, people here, they pray, and they pray, and they're fearing God, and they're hardworking people, and they just, like, if you ever been to this place called Prayer Mountain, I ain't never seen people pray that much and speak in tongues that much. uh Never before. never before. Like,
Wow.
and they're not you know, they're not joking with it, and that's why I feel like my mom and them, now I can see how they were strict on God and trying to tell me God and all of that. And I'll be honest, I didn't really understand what they were talking about, because God got them through everything in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
God got
Yeah.
them through everything in life, you know.
Yeah.
So now I look back to it and I was like, dang man, I was like kind of just ignorant and dumb. But now I see the vision what they were doing. So with Kenya, it's everything is good. I wanted to go back to the States because I I'm wired to work. I'm wired
You
to
want to
work.
work. You want to work.
Yeah, I want to work, but it's like being here in Kenya. Okay, how can I work? And I believe that if in all sum and if everybody would see that the way to work is that it's through God, because
Okay.
um, you your situation changes, your status changed from where you were in the States, where you can work for God and go work your 9 to 5 and be straight. But here it's like
Yeah, that's true.
real missionary work. So
Yeah, like if I can interject here, where Leon is coming in at is where he worked at Volkswagen and he quit his job at Volkswagen to come help me do missionary work here in Africa and Jamaica and Korea as we were traveling. But he cashed out his 401k and then we ran out of money from that 401k. So the part now that he's experiencing as the man of the household is it's taken a toll on him as a man, because we're on missionary visas, we're on volunteer visas, and you're not allowed to work in other countries with those permits. You have to get different work permits. So there's different processes and different steps. And this is the part that he's talking about that is taking a toll on him, you know, as a man and his background coming from nothing but workers in his family and in his bloodline. And now he feels stuck.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
So
and
that's kind of rough. Yeah.
going to hands on, and I believe it's a blessing that we all here are hands on with ourself in the our feet 10 toes in the ground experiencing this, because now we're highly blessed and favored, because now we can give this to the community that of people that are on their way to come, and we can better assist it, and we're scratching our head and we're going through that,
Yeah.
but we'll be more anointed to go through people that are scratching their heads and going through it
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
handle this
Yeah.
type of situation. So
Because I
it's
do
a
believe that I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I do believe that sometimes you have to go through something in order
yeah,
for you to tell somebody else about it. I can look
yeah,
at a strawberry, but if I've never tasted it, all I can tell you is it's red. But if I actually tasted it and and grew it, then I can say, okay, this is how you grow it. This is what you do. This stage by stage, so you can identify the different stages that you're in, and also you can tell them, well, this is what it tastes like. This is the season you buy it. This is when you pluck it. But if you've never gone through anything, how can you minister to anybody about anything? So that's
Yeah.
a lot of times. We don't go through
Yeah. It takes your,
Go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say
Go ahead.
it takes a toll on you as a married couple, as
Yeah.
a mom, as a wife, as a husband, as a child. It takes a toll on you as a family. We happen to come here together as a family because we're doing missionary work, but we all have different aspects of it. Like I feel like I'm living out my dream, even though there's days that I'm like, it's an annoying dream today, But then my husband is coming from a different place, Then my daughter, she's coming from a whole different place. So do you want to share?
And we want
Right.
to, we want to talk to her too. Okay.
one
You
more
got
thing
something?
before we close out, just as an experience, like when you're dealing with the embassy, from what I just went through just a second ago, they're basically saying that you have to be like completely homeless,
Okay.
and when you're completely homeless and you don't have no source, you probably don't have not a family member, not a soul. You're literally like not staying anywhere.
Okay.
Then they can come in and help. But also, I feel that it's a part of God's protection, because there's probably something in the spirit that I'm trying to, press and press and press, and he's like, nah, I'm trying to save you, save you, save you. So
Right.
and I started getting in my mind, I started getting negative. I was like, man, it's getting racist and saying, man, I bet you if it was, a white person or something like that, they would, no problem, write the ticket stamp and go. For me, being a black person and being in the motherland and everything, then I started to go into the wrong type of thinking. But I had to rebuke myself and say, hey, man, it's God's will, man. I ain't finna, articulate it and try to go extra in it, because that now it's starting to get negative, and now it's starting to get out of the realm of God. So I just left it alone. But that's my experience dealing with the embassy.
Yeah,
Well,
a lot
thank
of
you. I appreciate it.
a lot of emotions come up. You start looking at your life. You start wondering, did I get enough education? You start looking at online schooling. You start looking at your credit and student loans and trying to see, what do I need to pay back to get credit cards to help me out? You start looking at other resources to try to just stay as legal, as possible. Because I'm pretty sure some people, like we've even seen it ourselves, like in the building that we're in right now, we met another American who had a relocation service. And I guess he did some fraudulent things, and they end up blasting him all over the WhatsApp groups. He was renting out Airbnbs that wasn't his and taking money from people. So as Americans, that started putting light on other Black Americans, because we were just like, oh, we not with him, So we find ourselves in a space to where here in Kenya, I don't know if, and we haven't seen it ourselves, if there are many Black Americans who are going to the rural areas of Africa. They stay in the like the city parts or the expat parts, but we've actually branched out. Even when we were in Jamaica, we didn't stay in the expat parts. We branched out in the rural areas. Yes. So we got the real experiences. We can tell you the dirt. We can tell you what happens behind the scenes. When the people are tired of you being a tourist, when the people feel that you're there at home, it's a whole nother, it's night and day. So when I say we come from a very deep experience, and this is why we created Exodus. So with our Exodus relocation service, it's not just taking you on a journey and it's sharing with you our own personal experiences, but being able to tell you the pros and cons, the do's and don'ts, where to go or not to go, as well as how not to get scammed. Because it's not just here in Africa, all over. If you're out of your country, you don't know the language, you're going to get scammed. The thing about it is to try to learn as much as you can, as fast as you can, so you don't be, so you can be scammed less. You're gonna get scammed, but so you can be scammed less. So Now I want to.
It's actually best to have somebody there on the ground, boots on the ground, to help you to navigate. So, for instance, your foundation or your business, as far as you having boots on the ground, so you can say, hey, this is how I learned. Because I'm sure you went through some things too, being new there and dealing with different people and getting, all kind of stuff. So I'm sure that you could talk about that too, and that's going to be your subject too of another day. But people need to understand that it's important to have somebody boots on the ground, because if you don't have boots on the ground, it's got to be somebody that's honest, boots on the ground.
It does, and it takes toll on you as a family. Because instead of you lashing out on other people, you start lashing out on each other for not watching each other more. See, if you were there and you would have watched my back and you would have paid attention, and if you'd have been watching my back while I was watching her back and watching their back, so then we learn to watch each other's back. Because as Americans, we get really comfortable with everybody. We assume that everybody was born and raised with integrity, but we learned the very hard way that no, that's not the case. We are
No.
very people as Americans. We are given handouts. Like we came back to the Airbnb here and we realized that one of the maids stole our mop, and we're like, who would take a mop? You know, like just basic stuff, like, you know, you don't think of, but it's like things we take for granted on an everyday basis. You know, we're using a mop. Many of them don't even have a mop. They're wiping the floor with the towel, you know.
I'm starting to get to that culture.
Yeah, now
And
my
it's
husband's
not-
doing
and-
it. He's
and
like,
it
hey, it
works.
cleans the
It
floor better.
works. It works. It works.
But I still like the mop though, me
Yeah.
personally. You know, I miss
You
my
sure have
mop.
to get on your knees doing it.
Yeah, the
Well,
floor
I do
does.
want to hear from your daughter. I want to hear
Yeah.
a little bit about how does your daughter feel? Just so I know you don't want to, you know, go all into it, but you can, you know, come on up and give the teenager's point of view of how you see things. Thank you, Leon. We appreciate you. Thank you.
I can leave this here. And then I can take his chair.
Oh, Leon. Right here, she's gonna take your chair.
Yep, you got this.
Okay, hi.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Okay, do you have any questions that you want me to answer? Or?
Wow, where do we need to start here? Just how all this moving, you know, you left the US and you've gone other places, then you come here. How is all of this traveling and how are you feeling as a teen? And do you want to continue? Do you want to come back? What's your feelings? Give us your honest opinion. Being a teen, moving from the state into
Yeah.
abroad. How about that?
So I think my story is a little bit unique because my mom street preaches and we went in our car moving from state to state. And because of that, to be fully honest, I didn't exactly have a plate to root in. So if I made friends in one state, I would have to leave the state next to that, and I never got to follow up with them because people aren't good with long distance, and that's completely fine. So we did move from place to place, and then moving from here and then moving multiple places here because we moved to Jamaica before, and in Jamaica, like it fully like I felt horrible in that place because moving I grew up in Chicago. So
Okay.
going from a big city with endless possibilities that's like almost similar to New York to a remote island that's like it seems like everybody there is mostly like doing nothing all day. Going from that fast-paced life to a slow life was a very huge jump for me, and due to that it took a drastic toll on my health, my mental health, all that, and I was just trying to navigate through it. But at this time in my life, I feel like if you have kids or if you are planning to move to another state, definitely please look into, does my child have a place to go to school? Does my child have a place to just root in? And also talk to your child and be like, hey, what do you want to do? You know, because a lot of people mislook it and just think, oh, like they don't, like, you know, like they think that children are just going to do whatever, like, and even if they want to leave, it's not necessarily because of you. It's just because, you know, it's a lot on them. Moving a lot, especially at a young age, is going to be very drastic on your child's mental health. So to be fully honest, moving a lot is very difficult for me. Especially I'm a very social person. I'm extroverted, as what I would say. So not having somebody to talk to besides your parents is going to be very difficult, especially with school and all that. So I think you also asked me if I'm going to go back. I don't know yet. I'm still like navigating that and talking to God about that. But I do know that I have to do school. And then after I finish school, I might just move to the UK or something, or I'll just see how it goes to stay in the US. Because like I said, it's a drastic difference. And especially since I need some stability right now, since I'm so young. And you know, when you get 16 and everybody asks you, oh, what is your career? What do you want to do for college? All that. And it's like, it's a lot, you know, when you're like in a different place and you have to figure out school, your career, work, college, it's a lot. Like it's very much a lot.
Yeah, she's had her days Like, and then with me, as a mom and, parents, we're so busy trying to figure out, okay, how we're gonna, survive in a third world country. And you're so busy focusing on survival mode for the whole family that you really don't stop and, address, your children's, are they okay? What should I do with them? I think with me, I've always homeschooled my daughters. So with homeschooling them, I don't know what I personally have detachment issues myself, especially in another country, to send my daughter, being that she's been homeschooled, her whole life. And then now we're in Africa to just send her off to a school. Now here in Africa, from what I understand, even people who are British or come from the UK or Britain or something like that. So the way it works is all the adults, they go their way. They go their way, they do whatever they want to do. And then all the children, they go their way. They hang out with themselves. They stay in the boarding schools, the hang together. They all get out of school at the same time. They all walk together at the same time. So the children raise each other and the parents let them do it. And then the adults, they go do whatever they want to do. So I'm not used to that. I'm more like, nah, I want my baby to be. Yeah, but
that's
here,
a little different.
here in Africa, the children, they all stick together from the schools to the boarding schools to the after school program to raising each other. And I just was not ready for that or comfortable with that, being that I homeschool my daughter, like I said. But at the same time, you're trying to make a transition like this. You're trying to make everybody happy, but at the same time, you're gonna flop somewhere, shape or form. And then me personally, I'll get to the point to where I'm hearing, he wants to work, she wants to go back to America. And then I get to the point I'm just like, leave me alone.
I know. What do you do as a parent when you have it coming both ways? That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot. So you have something else to say?
No. Did you have anything else to ask or?
Can you help me out? What else? I'm like, oh my God, it's so much that, but I know I don't want to, keep you guys long. As far as
when she sees like things that are more Americanized, like maybe a restaurant, she gets excited. Or the hospital, she gets excited. Oh, hey, like it's an American type hospital versus like an African clinic or something, or like certain foods. She'll look at it and she'll be like, I don't trust that. I'm not going to drink that, My husband did get sick when we first got here because he drank a juice at a mall, and he ended up he ended up in one of the clinics, food poisoning. Yeah. And I was so afraid because when we first got here, we didn't get the yellow fevers. And I thought, I just knew he had some type of bug or something that was beyond my control. So I was like praying over him all night. And I was just like, just so worried. And we ended up finding a taxi driver who shared with us about a local clinic that happened to be an Indian clinic. And it was very clean. And his whole treatment and everything was like $4 US. So I was just so, yeah. So, yeah.
But that's another thing too, the healthcare here, even though it's like drastically, like the price in America is outrageous. That's another reason I was considering moving to the UK, because eventually if I want to settle down, I want to do it someplace safe to where you don't have to stress about, I feel like you can only live comfortably in the US. Like, of course, this is debatable, but you can only live comfortably in the US if you have a job that makes a lot of money, or if you grew up, I don't know, as a Nepo baby or something like that. I feel like it's that way with America. So if you're considering moving out of the US, there's definitely going to be a culture shock with healthcare, because we also heard from our friend that his grandma or like his relative was in the hospital and he could not pay, versus in America, like they say, oh, you can just pay us back in payments and we'll just call you back in payments, right? But they still take care of your relative even though you can't pay immediately. So here, if you can't pay immediately, they pull the plug.
Or they'll keep you until your family pays. Yeah.
You have to pay.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's stressful. Like, that's not peace of mind at all.
Mm-hmm.
If you, right.
a lot of European countries, they have free medical, right? UK and a lot of European countries have free medical, but Africa has no free medical at all.
It's very corrupt. It's very corrupt. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah. So how
yeah.
do you feel as a teenager? Have you met any friends there? Anybody? Have you met any young people?
I have, but that's the thing too. I feel like there's a culture shock and we both grew up in different cultures. So in America, you know how in America there's white, there's black, there's Asian, but you look at them as normal people. You don't look across somebody and say, oh, they have white skin, they're like from another place, and you look at them like they're a zoo exhibit, you know? So in America, you like become friends with whoever you want. If you don't, you know, vibe with someone, then that's okay. You just don't vibe with them. You can move on with your life. Here,
Okay.
when I tried to make friends, it seems like they only cared about my skin color, and they also did not see me as see me as a Kenyan. They did not see me as somebody who could be there permanently, because they've meant like, oh, they probably saw that they're probably just going to go back to the US, or they probably just don't go to school here. And also, the humor is a drastic change. Like if you make a joke, they probably won't understand it. You have
Okay.
different, it's just a different culture.
Yeah. And this is
Right.
not just from it's also from Indian Kenyans as well. That Jordan was hanging out with some of her Indian friends here.
Yeah, it's like that. And because I have a lot of friends from other countries. So I do have a lot of friends in the US, and we bonded like quickly. But I have a best friend who's from Europe, and we bond very quickly. So I feel like the US and Europe are kind of tight knit, and we understand the same things. But if you go outside of that branch, like Asia, if you try to make a friend in Korea, you're probably going to run into some mishaps because of the culture shock, or in Africa or in Spain or whatever. You know, it's going to be drastically different.
You have a friend in Russia too.
I do.
Boy, and see, this is some stuff that parents don't even think about when we bring our children abroad. This is stuff that we never think about. You know, we just think, okay, you know, kids adjust. You know, that's the first thing and I guess as, you know, if they were younger, they would, but by you being, what grade are you in? How old are you? Jordan, how old are you?
I'm 16.
16. See, that's a little, you know, a little different, because you're almost at that point where you're an adult. Well, you got a couple more years though. But yeah, it's just different. I think when you know, a 4 or 5 is different, but you know, so yeah, this is stuff we never think about. Go ahead, say again, Nubia.
I would say she started traveling at 13. About 13.
Oh wow.
Like
Okay.
in the car or in America?
And from Jamaica to Korea.
Yeah, I think that was
Wow.
13.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like I said, she's been to Budapest and Greece, but that she was like 8, 9, 10, you know, but we still had.
It's easier for her to travel at 8 or 9 than it is at 14 to 15 to 16. Jordan, do you think that it was easier when you were younger, or is it easier now to travel around?
Well, it was easier when I was younger, because I had the peace of mind that, oh, I'm coming back. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to be here forever. It was more of a vacation kind of thing. So when I can give you a perspective of when I was 13 and we went to Jamaica, it was definitely, I remember it being extremely, extremely, extremely like hard for me. Especially when you don't have, mind you, you don't have any friends, you don't have anybody to talk to. You're on a remote island that's like thousands of miles away from your home. It can be extremely isolating. And definitely, if you're thinking of coming to a country that's outside of the US, you can do that. That's fine. And I feel like younger kids definitely adjust. I feel like also people say you can teach younger kids multiple languages because their brain is more flexible. But when your kid is older and they start to solidify and they start to grow into who they want to be and who they want to become, it's not necessarily like, sometimes parents, I know they like try to say, like they think that their kids are being difficult, but really if you sit down and have a heart-to-heart conversation with them and really understand where they're coming from, really all you can do, as I know the Bible says, you know, raise up a child in a way which they should go, you can really just depend on how you raise them. And if you say, hey, I raised you to be a lover of God, I raised you to be this, I raised you to be that, if you go out and you follow that same order, I trust you. It's a matter of trust and respect. So yeah.
Wow. This is great conversation because I think like like I said, a lot of parents have no clue. We just thinking about, okay, let's get there and let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And kids, we drag them along and, we don't think about, okay, school, friends, it's a lot. It's a lot. But if we've never been that age traveling, we're always thinking about, okay, we got to take care of the family. We got to got to make that bread. You got to get either a job or a business. And a lot of times coming to Africa is all about creating your own business, depending on the visa that you get. If you see and I tell anybody, if you come to Africa, it's a lot, sky's the limit. You can create your business, you see it, you need it, you create it. Okay. And I do believe that. But if you're on a ministry visa, it's a little bit different that way. So let's talk about that, having that ministry visa more so than a work permit or a different type of visa. So if you had not had the ministry visa, would your husband be able to work or create his own business then?
If we have not had the ministry visa, no, because we're on the 5-year visitors visa as well.
Okay. Okay. So visitors, you can't work at all having a visitor's visa?
Yeah, because you're a visitor. So the way the 5-year visitors visa works is every 90 days you go in to the immigration, you get a stamp. However, we ran into people that was like, hey, I work for immigration, I can hook you up with the stamp, but it's going to be 500. Or one guy we were working with at first, he was like, it's $1,100 US. And every 90 days, we got to come up with $1,100 US. Until one day we were like, well, we don't have the $1,100 US. I said, so let us go down to immigration ourselves and just face them and say, hey, we don't have the money for that. So we get to immigration and they tell us, you're Americans, it's free. And we're like, wait, what?
How many times did you pay this dude $1,100?
It says that on the website, when you get to the immigration office, they say something completely different. So no matter what you read on the website, still go face them in person. Still do everything that you can step by step in person. Jordan, she's helped a lot because she's very computer savvy. And she's the one that helped us pretty much with the visas, helped fill out the forms and things like that, things that where I got stuff. Even when we're in Korea, that was another thing too. When we were in Korea, I was personally tired. I didn't want to go out walking around in Korea. Jordan wanted to go walk around Korea by herself. And I was like, no, Mom, it's Korea safe. I'm like, no, you're not walking around Korea. You're 14, you're not walking around Korea by yourself. And she's like, Mom, I'm safe, I'm fine. So I was tired myself, so I was drained from the traveling. So I stayed in the room and stayed in the bed. But then my husband went to go walk her down to the stores and stuff like that, But Korea is her, how'd you like Korea?
Yeah, Korea was very nice. I do wish I was able to go out by myself though, because I see there are like literal 12-year-olds walking around the street by themselves, and we live in the city. So if there were for something to happen, it was not late. I know I'm smart, so I know not to go out late or by myself or anything like that. But I definitely think I was able to walk by myself and not get lost, especially if you take safety precautions. Versus
but
here in
Africa. You have to
Africa.
see where your mom came from, though. Your mom came from the U.S. So in the U.S. mindset, we still had that. So to us, you walking by yourself is like, oh no, because we wouldn't want you to do it in the U.S. So I understand that. I do as a parent.
The trauma of America was crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You even see kids here at 8 in Africa walking around by themselves. But like I told my daughter, she's 14, wanting to walk around Korea by herself. And she's like, there's other kids walking around by themselves. I'm like, no, there's not little black kids walking around by themselves.
Yeah, there is.
Well, was
that a little bit of an America thing coming out right there?
Exactly. Yeah. We have our days where we're like all the best of friends, we unite, but that's more or less when we're like in a trauma mode or survival mode, or like we get on each other's nerves. You are going to get on each other's nerves because we're all around each other all day, all the time.
Yeah.
But
that's another sign to cut you off. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. If you move to another country and your family is so used to having somebody else to talk to, somebody else to branch out in, if you're close knit, remember humans are social creatures. So we're naturally going to, even if you're the most self isolating person on the planet, introverted, hate talking to people, you're going to eventually love to talk to people if it gets to that point. So because we don't have anybody to talk to or take our energy out on, you're going to take your energy out on each other.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to be. That's how it is.
My battery's going low.
Yeah, but you want me to
You
get
gotta
time?
Yeah.
change. Able to-
Yeah, come.
But yeah, that's how it's going to be. So if you do come here, that's another thing that I recommend is try to just get out and meet people. Go to as many events as you possibly can. I don't care if it's like expat events, more preferably expat events, because you're going to meet people from other countries, or maybe somebody from your country, and they're going to understand you on a personal level.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, hey, I'm going through this, you're probably going through that too, and you're going to like just go out and meet people,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm
because
sorry, our battery. I don't mean to cut her off, but our battery's,
Is it charging?
yeah, our battery's about
It's
to.
100%.
If
It's
we
okay.
cut off, our battery's going crazy.
Well, you know what? We can end it right here, and we're going to talk next week and maybe talk about the traumas of America moving abroad, you know, how we bring that with us. But I really do appreciate you guys coming. I really appreciate Jordan coming, and Leon, thank you for coming and sharing, because this is a conversation that's so much needed, because a lot of people just, we think about moving, but we don't think about other steps that's going to come with it. So you guys have given some people something to think about, that's bringing kids, that's bringing husbands. Some people, husbands don't want to come. So we do understand that too. But we appreciate you guys coming together as a family. And, you know, a family that prays together stays together. You know, I'm just saying. So you have to keep that first. And, you know, we got to think about, you know, some things. It's very important. Did Leon have one more thing to say, or we got, did you have something else, something closing to say?
If you can make it in New York or make it
In
New York,
Chicago,
you can make it
anywhere in the world. Yeah.
So that means don't, because I realized in my experience that I came here and kind of probably felt shy about maybe, getting that, you know, that candy or buying that thing. And when we in the States, we're not shy. We'll be like, okay, that candy is what? It's $1? No, I'm not paying no dollar for that candy. No, that candy, I can go down to Tommy and get it for 25, you know what I'm saying? Versus the 100. And I realized when my wife, she, as times was going on, she started to pick up on the scamming all the time. Where
I learned the prices very fast.
Where the prices, if the locals are getting the product for a low price, why can't I get it for that same price? Why am I getting double? And so I realized that sounds like how we in the States, if you come from wherever city you're from, you know that even if I'm in the States and I go to a certain hood or a certain place and I don't know the lingo, they gonna up the price on me, you know?
Yeah, like today I went to the mall and they check your bags when you come in the door at the mall. But she checked, there's 4 people that went before me with the purse and she didn't check their bag. She waits till she gets to me and I said, why are you checking my bag? Why didn't you check everybody else's bag? So she was shocked that I got her name. And then on the way back, I asked the guy, where's the security office at? So he points to the security office and she's staring like she's in trouble. And I said, I'm not even going to go tell her. They're going to talk about it so much that she's going to tell on herself.
Yeah, colorism is a huge thing.
Colorism is a huge thing here.
Colorism it's disgusting, because there's one thing that I always point out is slavery was only 160 years ago. That's a very short time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much trauma that's still in our life that we don't even notice. The jokes that we make, the things that we say, all have rooted from that, because it continued for so long. It continued for a quite a long time, but it's probably going to last thousands of years because of how especially with Black families and how they're treated compared to white families. It's all because of
we're
slavery.
Experiencing this from Africans who are supposed to be the same skin color and tone as us, but
they don't care. They just care about your money.
That's it.
They don't care.
Wow.
And if you're a light-skinned Black American, or if you're white, or even if you're black, one, they're only going to care if you have money, and they're only going to care about your skin tone, which eventually leads to money.
Wow, that's a big, that's a right there what you just said. We need to talk about that also. It's about the colorism, and so in America we talk about it because we have problems being black there, and then we come over here and having problems being light skinned or darker, being Americans, being not. It's just a lot. It just looks like it's just more added on to it. But we need to we're going to talk about a lot of stuff dealing with living abroad that we're noticing. And we're not here trying to hurt anybody or trying to embarrass anybody or trying to, talk about any one country. We're here trying to really shed light on what really happens when you live abroad in these different countries. I've not
Here.
experienced that in Mauritius in the part that I am. Go ahead, say it again.
No, I said no sugarcoating over on this end. We're gonna give you the raw. Like it's
That's
what you
I
get.
want. That's what I wanted.
We talked about.
Yeah.
We were in a shock because there was nothing like this talked about on the internet when we got here.
Nothing.
not find-
Nothing. This is why we don't talk about it. We're coming back next Thursday, same time. But do you have closing words that you want to put out there before your phone battery goes down? I know, Lorraine, you probably have something that you want to say if you want to come back on camera too for our last 5 minutes.
If you want to
So
support
you have
the
something to be in?
Little
Yes, go
Promise.org, littlepromises.org, not promise, but with an S, littlepromises.org if you want to support the missionary work we're doing here. We also still take care of seniors who are homeless or on the streets in America, still from abroad. Newmeals.net is our school of the mastermind where we do consulting. NUUMELLZS.net or Exodus, EXODUXZ.app where we help you with your personal relocation needs.
Awesome. Miss Lorraine, you want to come on camera to talk about your foundation or your last word? I don't know if she's here. I think she's Graceful Guidance.
Yes, Graceful Guidance is Lorraine. Gracefulguidance.com, I believe. Gracefulguidance.com. Ms. Lorraine.
Leon, you had something else you need to say? I think you raving it back.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
hear
go
you.
ahead, Miss Lorraine. Okay.
I was indicating to my wife about something. I'm sorry.
Okay, Lorraine, you're on.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lorraine? Okay.
Okay. That's okay. Yes. I think there's a little bit of a delay. So yes, it's wonderful to hear, the teen side. I've asked my son repeatedly to come on and share, since he's a teenager as well, his perspective. So it would have been good to hear from him as well, but I'm so grateful to hear where everyone's coming from, and I think we've got some good topics coming up. And I also have a YouTube channel, Graceful Guidance, and I have encouragement on there, and also you can follow our journey here in Mauritius.
Oh, you went mute, Cassie. It muted.
Okay, you guys can hear me now. Lorraine, are you still there, Miss Lorraine?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, well, when your son is ready, we're not going to force him. When he's ready, then we'll be more than happy to talk to him also. And I do appreciate you guys for coming on to, for taking the time out of your busy day, because I know we're up in the middle of the day, probably way up in the morning, early morning in the States. And we just appreciate even the ones that's going to come back to even see us here, even, a little later today. But thank you, Lorraine. I know you would have a little technical difficulties, but that's okay. Ministry still happened. People still heard the truth, and they still heard your side of how you felt and what it took for you to get here. And we thank you, Nubia, for you bringing your family. We got the whole family. Thank you, guys. And we appreciate you guys for coming. And we're going to do this every week until we're going to touch on all of the points. So if you guys have a point, a part that you guys want to discuss, I don't have to be the only one. So if you guys want to talk about it, just say, hey, Cassie, let's talk about blah, blah, blah. And I think everybody needs to understand what it is. And this is why we're bringing up these points, because we want to really help people to understand that it's just not up and moving. It's stuff come with moving. It's a lot to it. It's not just what you see is what you get. People don't talk
Right.
about this. So then when they talk about it, they're not being truthful about it. We are trying to be raw about how we really feel, how family members are feeling. And some family members said, hey, I'm not African, I'm not coming. That's understandable too, but for what's coming, and we know some things are getting ready to come. Everybody don't know about that, but the ones that do, if you can get out, get out. But I appreciate you guys, and we're gonna call it a day. Thank you for coming on, you guys, and we're gonna talk later. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one, okay?
Yes, you too. Bye, Lorraine.
All right. Bye.